My name is Prieto. I'm doing a presentation on parents' behavior and their effects on children. Do you ever do or say something that instantly reminds you of your mother or your father? It's a natural part of life that at some point of time we slowly absorb the characteristics and habits of the people around us on a daily basis. And who are you around more than your parents while growing up? The sources I will cite in my speech are a few scholarly articles written by professionals and PhD graduates who study the behavioral patterns of children in reference to influences by their parents. The behavior and habits displayed by parental figures in a child's life heavily influences a child's behavior and attitudes later in life. Raising children is oftentimes a real-life game of monkey see and monkey do, which is why it is important that parents are self-aware as they go about speaking to their children, interacting with them, other people in front of their children, and dealing with problems with their children in earshot. Andrew M. Ledbetter in this article, Family Communication Patterns and Relation Maintenance Behavior. Direct and meditated associates with friendship and closeness, writes that in studies, children base their interpretations on repeated experiences with family members that are formed in interactions involving most or all family members, which introduces the way in which children pick up things from their parents because they're constantly observing them. In an everyday conversation that parents have with their children, they're passing along habits and ways of speaking. This can be mindsets that the parent has or views on subjects in life, that even politics. Parents' job is to guide the conversation. It is during these intergenerational exchanges that parents socialize their children and define the very concept of family communication. Children use all of the little things that their parents figures do as example to live by and try to mimic them as they learn. They also have an effect on the way the children may express their feelings of anger, hostility, sadness, grief, and happiness. When parents are feeling down and out about their children, you can also pick up on it too, simply by observing. Warren and Aloy write, some research has examined meditation in context of parenting styles, but research suggests that parental stress can also influence meditation behaviors, which dives a little deeper into the reason why children are often influenced by parenting styles of a parental figure, and it goes as far to affect them behind closed doors. Warren. All families have their own way of parenting and teaching their children, but the way the children see their parents deal with the stress has an effect on how they may deal with stress when they are older. How they self-soothe, relate themselves to others, and wind down all can be attributed to a parent's interactions with them and their observed by daily practices. As well as that, the way a parent feels about themselves plays a large role in how children are raised, oftentimes, especially with technology now. Parents sit their kids in front of an iPad and turn on their favorite show to amuse them while they do other things. This can, since parents rely on the help of electronics screens to satisfy their needs to occupy their children when they are unavailable for them. The supervision strategy utilizes media to fulfill particular needs for their children. This need can be entertainment or diversion while the parent gets something done. Parents often use this media technology as leverage to get their children to act a certain way. Using the technology as a reward to stimulate good behavior or as a threat to remove privileges, as a technique to persuade their children. This parent uses this technology tool instead of being a present parent, which in long term may have a lasting effect on children. Children who are more exposed to this diversion technology become easily dependent on it and therefore pick up traits from things that they see on the internet rather than their parents. Some parents use this technique because they are subconsciously insecure their role as a parent and use devices as a pacifier. This buffer allows the parents to be seen in a better light by their children because they are the ones they give the iPad that they adore. Parents learn more towards things that make their children happy and, better yet, make them look good in the eyes of their children. Lastly, according to Child Mind Institutes, what would be the best way to manage your child's behavior at home to have a positive learning experience for your child and the parents as well? Behavioral therapy techniques can reach out to your child to help manage behavior problems, but also help gain developmental skills. Some good behavior management skills should include specific instructions so the kid knows exactly what to expect, observable and measurable so anyone can agree if the behavior happened or not. What to avoid with your kids. Assuming expectations should be spelled out because you don't want to assume your kids know what to expect of you. When children are unsure what exactly is supposed to happen or what they are doing, the child most likely will behave. You always want to make sure your child is face to face because it's important to point across rather than across the house because your child won't remember and will not understand. When kids are in the middle of something, they enjoy it. It may be hard for a transition to happen, so having warning can give you an idea for a good stopping point and will make a transition less of a headache. Sometimes rapid firing questions may be difficult for the children to remember certain tasks that they have been instructed to do. Here are some ideas that can help behavior, manage emotion factors as well as environmental factors. Fatigue, anxiety, hunger, and even distractions can make it difficult for children to halt their specific behavior. So when it's time for your kid to do his homework, make sure to remove distractions like the TV, certain toys, and provide snacks along with an organized place for your kid to work. It may be also beneficial to take breaks in between their homework. Sometimes it's beneficial to provide a clear expectation. Have a sit down with your child and present the information as clear and precise. Even if the kid knows exactly what to do, it can help to clarify any misunderstandings down the line. Another important point is to make your expectations of a child clear to them, so there's a less chance of any miscommunication and the child won't be helplessly guessing where they stand with their parents. Make sure also for transitions to incorporate countdowns for an upcoming transition, maybe 10 minutes in advance. Let them know that they must come down for dinner or start their homework. When it comes 2 minutes left, let them know one more time. Let your kids also have the choice. As kids become older and grow up, it's important that they have a say on how their schedule will be. Give them an option of do you want to take a shower after dinner or before dinner? Can you give us a sense of empowerment, encouragement to become more self-regulated? Here are some creative, effective consequences that you can avoid and that could be effective. Negative tension giving, such as raising your voice or even disciplining your child by spanking, will actually increase over time their bad behavior. Also, a child's self-esteem could be affected by responding to behaviors with criticism or yelling. Delayed consequences, effective consequences should be immediate. Every moment in time after behavior has happened, your child is less likely to link her behavior to what she did was wrong. It becomes punishing rather than actually changing the behavior. Sometimes parents can overreact, and there's a huge consequences that is detrimental for a child as he may give up trying to behave. Effective consequences that should be encouraged are positive attention for positive behaviors. Giving your child positive reinforcement for good behavior helps to maintain their good behavior. Attention that is positive enhances the relationship as well as improves self-esteem and feels great for anyone who is involved. Attention for brave behavior can also help with anxiety and help a kid become more receptive to certain instructions. You can reward your child with a variety of things, such as extra time on their devices or TV, a special treat, etc. This technique will only make your child more susceptible to having or behaving knowing they will receive an award. Timeouts are also an option as they are effective, but the hardest to do correctly. Establish what behaviors will result in a timeout. Make sure the corresponding timeout is immediate and follows a negative behavior. You can set rules and follow them during a timeout session. You can establish that there will be no talking until the time is done. Return to the task your child was in timeout for not completing a task. Once it ends, the child should complete the original task after timeout. Although everyone grows up to be their own person, the factors that surround them as they grow into themselves factor heavily into the person they are. The behavior and habits displayed by parental figures in a child's life heavily influences child's behaviors and attitudes later in life. Behavior exhibited by parents has an overall effect on the way children grow up, handle stress, interactions when they are older. We all have a little bit of our parents in us, no matter how hard we fight. This isn't always a bad thing, as we are constantly learning and evolving.